questions. Alright, so we can applause for it. Yes. Alright. So there are two segments of this section. The first segment is called the panel questions. So based on a lot of research with our members, I have framed 6 questions for each and every single leader sitting here. So and they'll be given 2 to 3 minutes time. So 2 to 3 minutes is your time. So it's not a TV speech. You can share your experience on that particular question and your knowledge on a particular topic. Alright, timer please note. Green card at 2, amber at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3.
Is there a thinking time?
No. And if these leaders go beyond 3, timer, please initiate an applause and the rest of the people will follow his applause. Which means?
If you finish before, do we get applause or?
I will personally thank you for it. Alright, so guys, are you ready?
I mean, he wants to talk to you.
One speaker.
Alright, so before we even begin, I would like to introduce the panel members to you. So this team sitting right here has a very significant role in Medley's growth. 5 years back, the same team, under the presidency of our distinguished Toastmaster Guru, served our club as executive officers. Big round of applause. So I would like to welcome the panel member, the first past President Guru Prasad. A big round of applause. The next panel member, past President Jayanti Sundar. Next, our very own beloved President, past President Sarathi Sri. Next panel member is well known as the Ramana of Medley. Next panel member, the perfect gentleman, Toastmaster Ramana. And last but not the least, the people's president, the so-called people's president, Toastmaster Sunil Jose.
I gave him the membership.
Alright. So Sunil is the first president I work with, so we have a long-term friendship. First segment is called panel questions. So the first question would go for Toastmaster Guru. So Guru, you are known as the superstar of Medley Toastmasters.
I know.
So you have scaled various heights in communications track as well as leadership track. The question that most of our members have is, how do you balance both communications and leadership track? Especially when you are an officer in terms of club organization. And your time starts now.
Of course, the first lesson I got after joining is to understand both these tracks and the significance of both the tracks. So, somebody can never grow as a leader if he does not know how to communicate with people, and somebody can never communicate with people if he does not know how to bring them together and make them progress in an organized way. Of course, like anybody else, I started with my own ideas and knowledge. Then I was guided by my mentor, Mr. T.M. Sundar, as well as other Toastmasters. I followed the Toastmasters legacy. I learned by looking at others or listening to others. A couple of days back, Jayan Narayanan had come to Accenture Toastmasters Club's 25th meeting. He said, "This is what you should understand about Toastmasters meeting. It provides you 20 people to sit and listen every week, which is not possible for you to achieve every week." Point number 1. It provides you an opportunity to look at how others are making mistakes and make sure that you are not making those mistakes. Though he delivered these two concepts in his own funny style, I think that was taught to me even without my knowledge. So I started looking at how others perform. For those who performed really good, I started following them. For those who were not up to the mark, I started understanding where they were making mistakes. And then there was a wide group of audience. Some of them volunteered to mentor me, and some of them I went and sought their help. Then I had this team. There is a famous saying that if you want a job to be done effectively, give it to the laziest person, because he'll find the easiest way to finish the job.
So you meant to say
I want that president.
people are lazy?
I want that president. So I delegated everything to everybody. They ran the club. I was simply sitting in a corner watching them do it. And that was my leadership style, if you want to call it so. But of course, there was good lessons learned on how to understand every individual strength. And like Valluvar said, I think that was practically taught to me in my Toastmasters career. I'm applying this even today in my official career. The same way, I'm really happy that you call me a superstar of medley, whether I deserve it or not. I'm also, fondly, recognized by all my peers, colleagues, even clients, because I follow the same lessons learned in my professional career. Thanks to Toastmasters.
Another personal question. Mention 5 significant names in medley who have transformed your life or who have played a significant role in your journey.
Yes, of course. First and foremost is TTM Sundararaman. He just one day called me, are you interested in speaking? Yes, I had been doing it for my lifetime. So he introduced me. Okay. Then Sandhya Rajaraman. Then Toastmaster Varadarajan. Then TTM Ninajan. Last but the most important person, as Gautam Sharma mentioned, late TTM Karthik Srinivas.
All right, a big round of applause. The next question would go for Jayanti. The question for you, Jayanti, is you are seen as a women's stalwart in medley. So we fondly call you the Iron Lady of medley. The question for you is
Call everybody Iron Lady.
Yeah, that's what.
of medley.
Okay.
Right. Even current president draws in a lot of inspiration from you.
We have hierarchy of Iron Ladies.
Allies of iron. The question for you is, what were your challenges as medley's president, women? With women, yes.
I'm very cooperative. Yeah. Just to begin with, first Toastmaster meetings were not fascinating me. It was very irritating because my husband had joined 4 years back. And every Saturday, he will get himself dressed very well, with tie, with the shoes. I haven't even seen him dressed in that way to his office. So myself and my 2 sons were literally thinking, where is he going so dressed up? And he would say some Toastmasters. I could not make him in what the Toastmaster was doing all about. And we used to find some way or the other to take him out on Saturday between 3 to 5 so that he doesn't go for Toastmasters. Come what may, be it his favorite movie, he will say, sorry, I can make it on Sunday. No, I'm going for Toastmasters. Very curious. I wanted to attend, but still I was not very comfortable. He knew that I was a very people person, and I love to make friends, and I love powerful women. He took me to conference. A so-called real Iron Lady inspired me when she's here now. TTM Ninajan ma'am. The way she carried herself, the way she spoke, I was really fascinated by the way she was down to earth, speaking to everybody. She made everyone comfortable. And everybody said it was she who founded this entire Toastmaster into India. That created a curiosity to know what Toastmaster is all about. Then my husband was pursuing me and telling me, Chandi, you can be a good mentor. So many people needs your mentorship or something. If I need to be a mentor, let them pay 6,000 to me, man. Why should I pay 6,000 and join them? It was not so. My learning was really a lot. To pursue people, come here and do something. I was very bad at scripting. You asked me to talk for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, yes. Within this green card, amber card, red card, that's where the challenge. And my first role was, after becoming a member, was to do a timer role. I thought that was a very easy role. Here, Bonda, a nice aroma and full AC here, with the watch here, I was not able to do anything. But I found that women were very good in talking, but the challenge is that they were reluctant to go on stage. Somehow I was able to pursue men to take up contests, particularly in contests. Today at Meraki, when I joined there, I was so happy that my co-contestants were all women. The way that Toastmasters is going, I wanted to grow, and I'm so proud that Achintya has taken up this presidentship here. Yes, it was a challenge as a woman, more challenges for other women to come up, but they will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is to our so-called chocolate boy of Medley. He's rounding up your chocolate boy. Alright, the question for you, Sarathi, is when you took charge as the president of Medley, you were the youngest president of Medley. So with almost all your team members beyond your age and experience. So what are the pros and cons of being the youngest member in a team and heading the team?
So first of all, I like the way you phrased the question, right? When you took charge, because Arvind always likes asking this question because he became the youngest president of Medley after me, so he wants to showcase that he so now that we've got that part out of the way, we can get to the real question, which is the pros and cons of being the youngest leader. Okay, so one is, I guess for some people there might be a sort of hesitancy or a bias that I think it's in all walks of life, right? Not just in Toastmasters. This guy is so young. Does he have the qualifications? Is he a good leader? Does he know what he's talking about? Why should I listen to him? I have much more experience. I will definitely know a lot better. Fortunately for me, those apprehensions weren't there in the team. In terms of, because these are people I worked with a lot. We had good stewardship in the previous term with Jayanti ma'am. So we're a really close group, and these apprehensions were not there. So that was one con that I didn't have to face, unfortunately. The pros were there was a lot less expectation on you, right? Which you might have if you're a Jayanti or if you're a Guru Prasad, that I didn't have. And I was a bit more relaxed, and people took my whimsical activities on stage with a lighter heart, which they might not have done for you, Guru. And that was one of the pros. For example, one big takeaway I had is I didn't prepare a lot for my presidential speeches or for the closing speeches. And what I found is there was a lot of appreciation because I would finish it all very quickly, and people loved that. People loved that I didn't bore them a lot. And one takeaway I have now, no reference to the previous presidents. One takeaway I have from that, which I learned in hindsight, is if you have nothing to say, just keep it short and sweet rather than prolonging the audience. So that's a plus, that the audience took it in a lighter vein since I was young, and I didn't take it in the wrong way. So I guess there's a lot more pros and cons, but these are the ones that stick out of them.
All right, big round of applause. Next question is to the Ramana of Medley. So Satish is a person, when he was the VP, when a person enters into Medley, first question he would ask is, when is your DTM? Give me your DTM date.
I have something to say.
I was restricting.
Offline. So a lot of people said planning a couple of weeks ahead is proactiveness. But if planning 7 years, 2 years ahead, I don't know what that means. If proactiveness is God, I would call you the son of God. Alright, the question for you is pretty interesting. So proactiveness is still good, but share your experience or an incident where that proactiveness of yours backfired or put you into an uncomfortable situation.
Okay, good afternoon. It's always good to talk about something you're good at it, right? And I don't think I have more examples to share. But I would like to start with this little experience of me becoming the president of Medley before I go on to this proactive approach. Because I joined in a year of 2011, July, when we were all celebrating the 100th meeting in the very same hall. From there, it took me about 2 years to be regular because I was dormant for a year. So when I came back, brilliantly Gautam has pointed out today, that was the first thing came in mind, what's my purpose? What's the purpose? Why should I join and I come regularly for a week after week? And I did a lot of behavior analysis or a kind of surveys within my office also. I found out I'm coming into they call it as a 4-column, right? Process, technology, that aspects. I always come into a place of where I concentrate more on process-oriented things. I started my career also as a quality professional, and I continue to do. So it got into my mind, and I had the gene of working in a little textile business during my early days of my college also. So the being a process oriented and planning in advance was being my great strength. So only thing I can say where backfired is when I do this proactive planning and advanced planning and everything, at times people started thinking me like a LIC agent. Then over a period of time, at least the last 4-5 years, this last 1 year I can proudly say I learned 2 things very, very valid lessons from my whole 5-6 years of Toastmasters. No free advice. You can step in when you want.
So that is a free advice for all of us.
No free advice. Number 2, know your role and perform only to that one. This proactiveness, I becoming it's kind of sick. I go and say something. I learned it like when you step down. When you step down as one particular role, when you don't move out. This I learned very heavily in this club leadership to the district leadership. The moment I started seeing beyond the club, when you're a president, you look up everything. When you move away from club president and take up in the district, the moment you think something beyond your own comfortable area, that's when your biggest growth starts. So I can say the flop which I converted into good is now, no preaching or free advices. Second, know your role so that you need not to be having face the consequences of being proactive.
All right.
I note down.
Next question. So if there's a quote called "Time waits for no man." So this man makes time wait for him. So he's called the punctual man of Medley. So the next question goes to Toastmaster Ramalingam. The question to you is, as a Toastmasters leader, how significant are awards and achievements?
Okay, there are 2 ways of looking at awards and achievements. Giving awards is kind of recognition. We have to definitely recognize people for putting their efforts and achieving it. It definitely motivates. If someone is not comfortable in doing their role, and slowly they are becoming comfortable and doing it and delivering a good job, that gives, when you are recognizing them, it takes them to the next level. They will enter into the next, maybe if he's a good member and you are recognizing him for doing a project or outstanding Toastmaster of the month kind of stuff. Next term he will become an ExCom officer. Then you actually give him a recognition like best ExCom officer, he will aim to become a president. At the same time, we should be very clear about what to recognize, what not to recognize. At times people put a lot of efforts in Toastmasters and don't deliver things. They come and attend meetings, they go beyond the club and attend things, but they don't progress in the SEL, they don't progress in the SEC. So not recognizing them for going beyond the club and attending club meetings is not good. It is not actually motivation, it is manipulation. I think here we have to differentiate between where to motivate, where not to recognize people and give awards.
Right. So another question is, so what about we chasing awards as a leader? So we have a set of awards to chase.
Correct.
So how do you see that?
Okay, chasing the awards, I would put it this way, like you try to add value to the members, slowly that will convert into numbers. That is what chasing the numbers, right? Chasing the awards, chasing the criteria, right? Instead of just chasing the criteria, you just try to add value. In fact, now with this joint meeting or having a website, all these things are criteria for Golden Gavel. We have done this much before all these things came into picture. In fact, Sarathi and Satish will agree. During their term, like they exchange, like every week they'll go to CCC or CSF. They invite CSF president to come and attend here. All this collaboration were happening even before Golden Gavel criteria was not there. So adding value to the members is priority.
Oh, beautiful point. Add value to the members. Big round of applause to Toastmasters. The next question would be to the so-called people's president. All right, the question for you, Sunil, is you had a very young team with you. Say with almost all the members of your team half your age. Alright, so as a senior leader, how were you able to get things done from young people like you?
Like me, like you. And he was also part of my ExCom. So That's right. When I was giving the presidential letters, I actually said ours was the youngest ex-com.
Except you.
No, I said it's when you take the average ages, because Priyanka, then you were there, BPPS, Tushar, all of them were very young. So one thing I found very interesting, which I enjoyed, was the energy. The energy level was very high. So I'm like a person when I stay alone, I'll have a lot of negativity. So unless I keep talking to people, or unlike in a company of like-minded people, I'll be having a lot of negativity. So I found that group very high energy, with high energy and enthusiasm. Another advantage was they all, like he said, seriously they thought I'm senior because I didn't have hair that time also. So they all thought I was over I was over 40, but not, I was actually 35. So there was a kind of gap, I mean like a fear factor, or maybe not fear factor exactly, but you know how you treat your boss when he's over 50 or something like that. So these are like kids, like all students, most of them. And unfortunately this guy was also there, so unfortunately he was a VP membership. So really,
I was the VP. Yeah.
I was just trying to test him. Yeah, okay, you still remember your role. So I mean, the enthusiasm and the energy, that was two things which I actually enjoyed and actually got.
All right, next question. Who's the best ex-com?
I mean, in my term.
In your term, obviously.